Hello again, I'm Coyote Yak, and well, Mexico hit the news, but because they are laughing stuff. So yeah, they announced that they were going to put a new tax for violent games. Oh yeah, because they say, oh, we need to fight all violence that is roaming our country. According to the tiny hat, and you know what? I'm going to show you the comments here before even I say something. Like, people say in Mexico impose attacks on violent video games. Do any of these politicians look out their bulletproof windows? You live in Mexico, one of the most violent countries in the world. I swear the government doesn't stop doing shit behind our backs. I didn't hear of this until today. Well, the taxing of video games is is masquerading with other stuff that well is related to taxation, but well, jumping too much into the conclusion. Look at this. So only only a woman can come up with such a retarded idea because yeah, she's a tiny head and she's not. Look, Mexico elected a tiny hat. She is not even a natural born Mexican citizen, and especially where the country is fucking 95, 99% Catholic. And I had to say 95 because the rest turn themselves into atheists, but your average woke retard atheist. Just saying, and yeah, the country is mostly Catholic, and they elected this one, and it is like the first female president of Mexico, and look how things are going. Ah man, so I'm on all of these comments, and I remember watching one. Where was it? Ah, well, looks like it got deleted. Yeah, it got deleted. Fucking deleted. So, a country that has so many problems with the cartels because the cartels, well, they, they are ex-military, ex-federal, ex-state police enforcement, ex-local law enforcement. And yeah, they just pass on to another business to, well, make drugs, kill people like they are like fucking pounds or grass. Then you're cutting off grass in your backyard. It's that's how they kill people. They don't fucking care. And well, here is the thing. They are putting this 8% tax because the government is a left-art communist hellhole. Yeah. So, well, for the record, Mexico has never voted right-winger ever in their fucking life. The only thing they had it was left or further left. And they chose it further left, well, with the same scumbags that have been roaming there like fucking dinosaurs all over the course of decades. Yeah, decades. And all of this is because yeah, they run out of money. And look at this one. So they're saying, oh, we need to protect our children. We need to combat the crime by taxing violent video games instead of actually going after cartels. You know what that is? Every single government over the entire course of its existence in Mexico has always been supported by the cartels. They always have done deals with the cartels because if you are not doing a deal with the cartel as a politician, you get instantly clean and then you get replaced with someone else. That's how has worked like this for decades, and it's worsening to the point that hey, I know U.S. citizens out there remember this one because yeah, I know it hidden news in their political channels spreading the word that yeah, the last year with the presidential elections they killed a lot of candidates, not like presidents, but yeah, there were only three candidates for presidency that were state and local positions. The opposition, the resistance got killed. No, I'm not making that up. A lot of, you could say it was a soft genocide that happened in Mexico last year. And also all of that to perpetuate that the current administration with the political party. So imagine for Japan you have the LDP. For European Union is the fucking the whole European Union. For Mexico is a political party called Morena. Governed for 6 years, screwing the country, but the people still, but the boomers, the boomers, they were the ones that primarily voted for them because yeah, they don't care about the younger generations. They don't give a fuck. And I know they don't give a fuck despite that they need to rely on them to have their pension, despite most of those boomers out in Mexico have never ever worked in a formal condition to generate tax revenue. Never. You have like 50% of the whole country working in informal jobs that don't report taxes. Despite that everything you buy in that country is all taxed. In the US, you have to declare taxes even to buy a soda. Now, the companies and all of those places that sell you that stuff, you already are paying taxes. That's how things work like that in Mexico. And yeah, they are doing this movement to tax everything. So yeah, they're going to taxing in soda. So you have this. So 1.6 pesos to 3.08 pesos per liter in the tax that they're implementing. They're going to implement this the next year. So you have an increasing of 80% for buying soda. And then the second one, cigarettes. I have to say I already stopped smoking, and at this point, they already got taxed, in a span of a few years. Uh, it was evident that they added a lot shit tons of taxes. There still are people going to buy it because since when you are someone that is so hooked in cigarettes, well, 30% tax. So gambling, this one that, oh man, yeah, the ones that dedicate themselves to gambling, yeah, they are going to cope and see it so fucking hard. So well, so 20% increasing. So the taxing for gambling transactions will pass from 30% to 50%. And one point is going to be 75% if in the next year, since yeah, Mexico led governments every 6 years. Because yeah, they some fucker among their history wanted to avoid getting the hassle of being reelected, so he said, you know what, 6 years, and yeah, it's a long road for Mexico, and here you have it also being confirmed that well, increasing of tax. Now this is labeled brand. It's a new tax, so selling, downloading, and access to digital games with violent content. So they know all of that. They have to pay 80% extra just so and they say that everything what they consider violent games. So now you're not. They didn't define that like in a already well worded statement. Of course not. Left-wing governments such as this are going to use every single loosely word, all of them. Any power tripping piece of shit always do this. Because the moment they use ambiguity, they get away with a lot of shit. And this is not going to be the case. Well, this is not going to be an exception. For example, if you see games like racing games that, yeah, they're not like fucking Twisted Metal, but you have crashing physics. they're going to consider it all too extreme and violent. You even fucking games such as FIFA only because you can actually kick some other player out there in the game. They are going to consider that an extreme violent game. So yeah, they're going to tax every single game to the point that even Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing are going to be labeled violent games. Yeah, and it's because that government run out of money, but they still want to give themselves the luxury of their life. I remember that some of the former president got called out internationally because well, of course Mexico is struggling. He went with a full fucking 5 stars hotel to Japan, probably some hookers there. And it is even just worrying for Mexicans considering that the taxing for actual salary people there, so people in that actually have regular jobs and they get their taxes being deducted from their salary, their paychecks. They the government takes 50% of their paychecks. 50%. And at this point, well, Mexico voted themselves for this one. I know some states decided to choose other leaders, despite also, of course, they are supported by the cartels, but they didn't want to have the ones that at this point, yeah, they're just playing with human lives at our own will because they don't give a fuck. And to the people that, well, have said that Mexico is a cartel terrorist state, a cartel terrorist group, they're right. They are absolutely right. And also, I'm going to show you this one. Not this one. Well, that one, yes. But well, I'm jumping to conclusion first. This one. So the whole Marine Force and with the at the fucking frontier and with the import and exports control the the marine port that controls imports and exports to the country. The main management position got arrested because they were colluded with the cartels that they were stealing no fuel. So yeah, they were stealing fuel in insane amounts. And you know how a fucking organization that should be protecting their people is already in shambles. But at this point, there is anything left. They are just seen by Mexicans and the rest of the world as a terrorist group, a terrorist country because of this one. So this image, they were using a whole fucking navy ship. Yes, you heard that right. The Marine Force used a whole navy ship to storage all the stolen fuel, creating shortage in the whole country so they could resell it at higher amounts of money and make themselves rich. But they were capitalizing in the intentional, malicious misery that they brought to their own people. So yeah, all of the taxing of video games is going to be to this. And also, the ones that want to actually say something, then say, you know what, dude, enough is enough. So all of this came to light because someone said enough is enough and spoke. And you know what was the immediate response of the Marine Force? Kill their own. So look, suspicious. So another captain of the Marine Force died in an alleged shooting accident. Shooting accident. Like in less than 2 days. Two captains in the short lifespan, in the fucking time span, and all of this. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, they are going to perpetuate this, and once again, Well, all of this came to light because they said, yeah, this country is saying, oh, well, we need to fight crime statistics, we need to tax what actually doesn't create violence. You know, it doesn't matter if you have a person being headless, hanging in a fucking bridge like a fucking piñata. No, 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 we need to tax video games. And sadly, the fact is that, yeah, boomers, they were agreeing to this. Mexico, at least the young generations are realizing of the fucking leftards that they need to kick out of their country, but also they increase spite towards boomers is increasing because yeah they believe them. You know, people don't tend to believe that, oh well, but the older generation had wisdom. Not for all cases, especially for Mexico. Most of them they just wanted to live free with taxpayer money with through social programs, and they're still going to support those social programs. Just they're still going to supporting the stealing of fuel, the making of drugs, the genocide of the country. Yeah, so yeah, at this point, yeah, the U.S. have reasons to call yeah Mexico a security threat. It's a thing of national security because of shit like this. Imagine having a neighbor that is doing all of this shit. And you think that even if you have your whole army in the borders, they're still going to find ways to keep pushing their fucking crime regime. That's all I want to say here, man. Mexico is being laughed at because of shit like this. And before I forget something, we laugh at UK for well, the Online Safety Act, but Mexico is no different. So this one that is a recap of everyone that is spreading. So Mexico is going to implement their own online safety act next year, but these fuckers were far and beyond. And what I'm saying is by deciding what is going to be a new ID with fingertips and your face scan, and with the lame excuse such as, oh, we need to identify the people that have disappeared by the cartels. You know what they do to those ones? They burn them to ashes, or they drown them in acid barrels. They doing shit that well is going to be even the people that have been found impossible to actually determine who it is. The only remnants that people can identify of their people that pass away is through well physical stuff that they carried with them before they getting their lives taken by these fucking ghoulish monsters. And you know what is going to happen? You know what is going to happen when this shit gets in process? Yeah, since the cartels are in every single state, in every single position of the whole country, they are going to have the best treat, the best dessert, the best meal they have ever had in their life because even the people that have businesses, small, medium, or big, they're going to get targeted by the cartels because they're going to put it in a loosely database waiting to be hacked. Or at this point, they don't need to do something like hacking. They just need to put a fucking Trojan horse where is a cartel member. You know, like that Leonardo DiCaprio movie called Infiltrators. Just like that. And all of these problems, yeah, I went too long, but I'm mentioning all of these problems primarily because they, once again, they want to blame it on video games. Yeah, this is a fucking clown show. Anyway, I'm tired. That's it. Thanks for watching and please take care.